Hello everyone, I'm Sally and welcome to today's Atta Webinar. Today our presenter is Sophie Holloway, who will be introducing Lengishu, which is a new and exclusive use property on Borana Conservancy in Kenya. Sophie was formerly at the Kenya Tourism Board, where she managed trade relations in the UK and Ireland. She has since joined the PC agency, which is based here in London, and they provide trade representation and PR services for Lengishu in the UK. If anyone has any questions during the presentation or afterwards, you can type them into the Q&A box, which should be visible on your screen, and I will then field those to Sophie at the end. You will also receive a copy of the recording afterwards, either later today or tomorrow, so should you want to refer back to it. And if you have any further questions afterwards, I've also included a contact email address on that draft, which will be sent out to you, so you can send those on. So Sophie, over to you.
Great, thank you, Sally, and thanks to everybody for joining me today. So this is Lengishu that you can see in front of you today. So Lengishu is the latest and last exclusive use home that will be built on Borana. We are located on the Borana Conservancy, which is in Laikipia area of northern Kenya. And just to give you a little bit of background, if you didn't catch the webinar with Eloise last week on Borana, we are the neighbouring conservancy to Lewa. So Borana itself is a 32,000 acre private conservancy owned by the Dyer family. And in 2014, we dropped the fences between Lewa and Borana, creating the East Africa's largest continuous rhino habitat of over 90,000 acres. This, however, Lengishu is the home of Joe and Minnie McHale, who basically bought the last plot of land available for sale from the Dyer family on Borana in 2016. And they have been working on building their home in Kenya over the last 3 years, opening their doors to paying guests in May 2019. The property itself can accommodate 12 guests, and that's across 4 cottages, and as I said, is available on an exclusive only basis. So the owners, the British couple that own this, Minnie and Joe McHale, very much committed to Borana Conservancy and what it's trying to achieve by bringing tourists into the area who all contribute through conservation fees. That money then goes back 100% to the Conservancy and is used in all of the initiatives that the Conservancy run to benefit the local communities. And that has been a huge part of the success of Borana, is the support of the local communities and looking out really for the rhinos that are on Borana and ensuring that they are safe and continue to thrive. In terms of getting to Lengishu, there are 2 ways that we would recommend to get there. So you can either go via charter aircraft, which is direct from the international airport in Nairobi, direct into Borana Airstrip. So Borana Airstrip itself is 15 minutes drive from Lengishu. The other option to you is to go via scheduled carrier into Lewa Downs, and that is then an 1.5 hour drive to Lengishu, which is very much dependent on the game that you see on the way and whether you wish to stop and take photographs. We also offer excursions as well out to places further afield beyond the boundaries of Borana Lewa landscape. And we work very closely with partners like Tropic Air to provide those kinds of experiences with both helicopter and fixed wing aircraft. So just to cover a few highlights of Lengishu and what it can provide your clients. We are very centrally located within Borana, and we are at a height of over 6,000 feet. So this means that the property benefits from the most amazing views out over Borana and Lewa, and further into the northern frontier. You also will have seen from the first slide, we get amazing views of Mount Kenya on a clear day as well. Being at a height of 6,000 feet also means that there are no mosquitoes, so Lengishu doesn't have any risk of malaria. And we don't, you'll see, have any mosquito nets in any of our bedrooms or buildings as a result of this. Sustainability has really guided the build and also how Lengishu is now managed. Sustainability has very much been part of that. and Minnie and Joe are very, very keen to leave as little impact on the environment as possible. So you'll have seen that Lengishu is built into a ridgeline and has been very, very discreetly built so as to not leave too much of an impact on this area of the world. We also, a local workforce was also employed on the build, and Kenyan materials were used as much as possible. And you'll see a lot of exposed timber work throughout all of the buildings that was sourced locally from within Kenya, and also a lot of materials that were actually taken from the site itself and used throughout the build. So you'll see this sort of rocks that have been used to create features within the main house. There's also a pool shower, outdoor shower in the pool house, sorry, which has this amazing rock feature that comes into the outdoor rain shower. And in terms of how we're managed, the property is 100% run on solar power. We share a solar farm with Borana Lodge, which is next door to Lengishu. We have a water tank underneath the main house, which is used to collect rainwater that is then used for irrigation on the indigenous gardens that have now been planted. There are 2 solar powered boreholes, so all of our water is filtered on site and is then put into glass bottles. We also give aluminium bottles for all of our guests, so we commit to there being no plastic on the Conservancy. We also try and keep food miles as low as possible. So when we're bringing in produce to use in the kitchen at Lengishu, things like beef, eggs, cream, vegetables, all of that is sourced as much as possible from local farms like Wait a Bit Farm. And we also employ locally. So there is a team of 16 full-time staff that are there on hand to look after your guests, and 88% of them are employed from the local community. There are 2 members of staff that we have recruited from further afield from Nairobi, which is our house manager Sheila and head chef Sam. And then just to touch on the expert guiding that we can offer at Lengishu, Nisa is our head guide. He is local to Borana and he knows the area like the back of his hand. So he is incredibly knowledgeable and has an encyclopedic mind. He was one of the first guides in northern Kenya to be awarded the silver certification, and he is currently going for his gold certification in guiding. So he will be one of the best qualified guides in all of Kenya. And this map just gives you a good idea of where we are on the Conservancy. So this is Borana Lodge, and directly next door is Lengishu. So just to say that you can't see one property from the other, they are on either side of the ridgeline. But what makes this good for larger groups is that you could, if you wanted to, hire out Borana Lodge and Lengishu on an exclusive basis. So if you had a group large enough, or guests that were staying with a team of people, they could stay in Borana Lodge and then the guests could stay in Lengishu. So then you also have the airstrip here, which is where you would come into if you were going to Borana, the headquarters where lots of our activities are run out of. And then to the east, you've got Lewa. And this is Lengishu. So guests would arrive here, be greeted by Sheila and the house team with cold flannels and juices on arrival. You would then go down into the main house, and this is where you'll find the study, the dining area, 2 sitting rooms, and then the cottages where the bedrooms are all branch off of this main house. And then to the west of the property, you've got the pool house. So this is where your guests will walk into. As you see, this is very much a private home, and there's no formal reception desk. Guests would be greeted very informally by Sheila and the team, and you would then go down into this hallway where you get the most amazing views out over the Conservancy straight away as soon as you arrive. And you'll see that there's lots of personal effects and photographs around the property. So it is very much the home of the McHales, and they do stay here. And so you'll see a lot of photographs and things around, which is just a really welcoming environment to walk into. And to the left, you've got the study. So if you do need to work during your stay at Lengishu, this would be a great place to base yourself. In terms of connectivity, we have Wi-Fi throughout the entire property that you can connect to. We also have Sonos throughout the whole property, so you can connect your music up. The satellite TV in here, and we also have Netflix, TV and Netflix in all of the bedrooms as well. Then through to the right hand side, this is the main house, and this is all open plan. So what you're looking at the end here is one of the sitting rooms. And then if you go down a couple of steps, then you'll go down into the main space where you've got dining table here, which can be set up for up to 12 guests. And then at the other end of the room, you've got another sitting area with a really welcoming fireplace where a lot of guests choose to relax after dinner. And then out onto the terrace area, this has been set up for drinks and snacks in the evening, but also makes for a great place to set up for breakfast. And there's also a pizza oven here as well, so we can make fresh homemade pizzas for guests too. And just touching on meals, so we don't have sample menus as such. Everything is very much done on a bespoke basis, and we can cater for any and all dietary requirements. And Sam, our head chef, and his team are very happy to do that. We also offer bush meals as standard, so we can do breakfast, lunch and dinner at no additional cost. Then onto the first of the bedrooms. So this is the upper cottage. The upper and lower cottage are fairly similar in terms of design. You'll see the high vaulted ceilings that continue through from the main part of the house. And you'd walk into here, you've got large open plan sitting area with dining table. There's a kitchen just behind, so we can bring drinks and snacks down here. We could serve an evening meal if you wanted to do that and wanted a more private setup. And then you've got a shared terrace area out to the front. And then off of the sitting area, you've got 2 bedrooms. To the right, you've got Hupu, and to the left, Hornbill. Each of the bedrooms has their own private bathroom, private terrace area, and separate toilet off of the bathroom as well. All bedrooms have wood-burning stoves. We provide safes, phones in all of the room to reach the house staff as well. And you get these amazing views from your private terrace as well out over the Conservancy. The lower cottage, just to mention, is down a flight of steps. So if you have guests that are less mobile or who are going to struggle going up and down all day, then I would recommend that they are in the upper cottage or one of the individual cottages. The other thing is that to get to the second bedroom wider, you do need to go outside through a small courtyard. That does make this bedroom quite secluded, and that's completely self-contained. So you have the sitting room, bedroom, and then this amazing bathroom as well with floor-to-ceiling windows, and you can look out over the rest of the Conservancy. But the bathrooms are all quite similar in terms of their design. They make use of this black meru stone with rain showers, and then we also have copper roll-top bathtubs in all of the bathrooms. And this is Goshawk, so the first of the individual bedrooms, with a double bedroom and sitting room opening out onto this amazing terrace, separate bathroom, and then Fish Eagle, which is the last of the individual bedrooms and is the master. They have 4-poster bed, which is separated from the sitting room with this double fireplace in the centre of the room. To the right hand side, you also have a walk-in wardrobe and then large master bathroom as well. So just to touch on some of the activities that we can offer at Lengishu, we want Lengishu to be very much a base from which to explore the Conservancy and further afield. But within Lengishu itself, we have an amazing pool house, which we encourage guests to use. So we have this fantastic infinity pool. There's also a pool house here with dining area. There's a billiard table in here, a darts board, bar, sitting area, and then there's a gym in this second building with an outdoor shower. And then at the back, you've got a separate kitchen, and underneath here is another table from which you could enjoy a meal from. So this is the pool house, and the billiards table here can actually be lowered and a cover put on top of it. So this will be transformed into a dining table. The fully equipped gym, so we provide yoga mats in actually all of the bedrooms for guests to do private practice if they wanted to, but they can come down into the gym, and we've got a treadmill, cross trainer and bikes to use, and then the outdoor shower next door. And this is quite quirky, so we have our own private petanque pitch, which is quite unique to Lengishu. There are no other properties that provide this in East Africa as far as we are aware. And then the studio. So this is the last of the rooms, last of the sort of outbuildings from the main house, sorry. And this is a really versatile space. So you can have massages here. We can also set up the massage table wherever guests choose, whether that's in a cottage or whether that's by the pool or in the studio itself. But it also is a great space if you have adults in the party that want to either have a meal privately, or they want to go out and do an activity on the Conservancy and they want somebody to look after their children whilst they're doing that. And one of the house staff would be more than happy to do that for guests. And we don't actually charge for this service, but we do ask that guests tip accordingly. This is NISA. So as a private conservancy, we offer game drives day and night. We also offer a range of different activities. So horse riding is incredibly popular for guests staying at Borana. There are 2 stables, one at the headquarters for more expert riders and another Ngari and Dari stables for novice riders. We include 1 horse ride per guest per stay within our rates as well, and anything additional would be charged. And this is a really special activity that I encourage everybody to try whilst they are in Borana. So we offer the opportunity to join the rangers out on foot when they do their morning patrols. They have to identify the rhinos they are responsible for within a certain section of Borana. And guests are encouraged to join rangers during this time. So they would go out before breakfast, and it gives you a really great opportunity to get really, really close to big game safely. And it's a very authentic experience. So it's happening day in, day out, regardless of guests staying. So guests are getting a really unique experience here. And then of course, Pride Rock. So the Disney production crew visited in 2017 and visited prior to the first film being released of The Lion King as well. But Lengishu is actually really, really close to Pride Rock. So we often go up here for sundowners and take drinks and snacks up here. And it's a really, really great end to the day. And you can just observe the Conservancy and spot game from high up on Pride Rock. It's a really lovely place to end your day. So I think that's everything. I hope that has been useful, even though it's a very quick roundup of what Lengishu can offer your clients, but I'm very happy to take any questions that you may have now.
Thank you so much, Sophie. That was a really comprehensive presentation in 16 minutes. And really interesting and amazing property. We've got a question from Anne, I can see here, who's asking, how far is the drive to Lewa? And if guests would like to visit Lewa just for the day, can they do that?
Yes, so it's an 1.5 hour drive. It is a game drive from Lewa Downs to Lengishu though, so it's very much dependent on what game you encounter on the way, and guests have encountered all of the big 5 on that drive over. So if you did that, then the drive may be longer, but we tend to allow an 1.5 hours. And then in answer to your second question, yes, you can visit Lewa. A lot of guests find that the variety of landscape in Borana is enough and that they don't want to go over to Lewa. If you do want to go there, though, there would be an additional charge for Lewa Conservancy fees in addition to Borana's.
Okay, thanks. We have a question from Christian, who was just asking for confirmation on the horse rides, if that's included on daily rates.
Yes, so we include 1 horse ride per guest within the rates. And then anything additional to that, if guests were really avid horse riders, then we can organise that, but it would be chargeable at $80 per ride from then onwards.
Okay, thank you. We don't seem to have any questions in the box at the moment, but if anyone has any more, there's the Q&A box on your screen which you can use rather than the chat box, so please type them in there and we'll just wait a couple of moments and see if there's any more. Okay, I think that might be it for now. It looks like you've... Oh, no, we have one more. Another one from Anne. How many nights do you advise spending at Lengishu?
So there's a minimum night stay of 3 nights on Lengishu, but we normally encourage sort of a week stay, so between 5 and 7 days at Lengishu, just because there's such a wealth of things to do on the Conservancy. So yeah, we would encourage a longer stay if time permits.
Okay, thanks. And when would you say is the best time of year to visit?
So we're open year round, we don't close. In terms of best times to visit, I can tell you the most popular times to visit, which are during the summer months and then also over the Christmas New Year period. That would be the most popular months. But outside of that, in the shoulder season, sort of after the short rains, sort of April, May time, that's a really lovely time to be on the Conservancy. And although you don't really get crowds in Kenya or in this part of the world, that would be a great time. It would be more competitively priced, I guess, in terms of flights.
Thanks, Sophie. We've got another question asking, what is the maximum capacity for people staying?
Yeah, so at Lengishu, it's 12 guests is the maximum.
Perfect. I think that's all the questions we've got at the moment. If anyone has any questions after the presentation that you think of, you can feel free to either email me after the webinar at sally@atta.travel, or you can email Eloise, whose email address will be included on the presentation sent out to you. Sorry, we've got one last question that's come in, which is just asking what are the age restrictions for children? Are all ages allowed?
Yes, so all ages are allowed. There is just a couple of activities that we have a minimum age range on just for safety. So the rhino tracking is one of them, and there's a minimum age of 12. But beyond that, there isn't a minimum age to stay at Lengishu. And we can also provide alternatives to rhino tracking. So organise bushwalks, for example, where you're not going to get so close to big game for younger guests.
Great, thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you everyone for attending, and I hope that you can join us next week. It's our last webinar of the year. Otherwise, we'll see everyone again in January. And Sophie, thank you so much. And that's all for today.
Thank you.